Nice.
Okay.
Let's see how it works.
Okay, so here we are. I'm with Joe on Mount From, and we are riding our two RSD 291 hardtails. And there's some setup differences. Joe went right away for the Z1 coil fork. We both have Saint brakes. We both have droppers. What else did we change from the spec?
I changed to Noble TR41 carbon wheels right away. And we changed the tires. I did the Michelin Wow Enduro
That's a good
with
tire.
the Maggie compound, which I always like. And James, what do you do?
I decided to try the Continental Crip Total front and rear. But actually, both. I mean, the Michelin Wild Enduro is the gold standard tire, and I think the Crip Total is just as good. I think so far, but I have to test it more.
Yeah, from my own experience, I really like the Maxxis as a guy, but I think the Michelin seems to have more traction. I haven't tried Cripple Total, but James said it's even better.
Yeah, I think it might be better. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it might be even better than the Michelin. I also thought the Askai grip was good. I do think the grip-wise it's quite good. I just find Maxxis tires unreliable. They either get that weird wobble to them, which is pretty common, or I usually get like casing failures, like lots of punctures. I've never tried the downhill ones because they're heavy and the wire bead I have no interest in. But every other one, double down, XO Plus, I always just get punctures right through the top of the tire. So I just don't use them anymore.
Yeah, I actually have the double down and also have the DH casing for Acid Guy before. I ordered from TBS 3 times, but 2 times I have the Maxxis wobble. One time I actually took my bike to the bike shop right away after I installed the tires. I thought my rims is bent, but the bike shop said the rim is perfectly true. It's just the Maxxis wobble, so TBS actually gave me a refund.
Casing failure.
The replacement. The replacement is actually still have the wobble, but anyways.
Yeah, I mean it still works, right? It's just I just think it's so frustrating. Like it's kind of like I said earlier. Like it's not that it's a bad tire. It's not. But there's just so many better options. I'm actually not really sure why anybody rides. And obviously, this is just our opinion, right? We're not sponsored by anybody. These are all just opinions. Obviously, nobody should listen to us. So, anyway, but that's just what I think, right? Like, there's just better options. I'm not really sure why anybody rides Maxxis in today's day and age. That's just coming out of my frustration. I absolutely hate trailside repairs. Sunny out. You're getting eaten by mosquitoes or horseflies or something, and your Maxxis tire failed. Nah, I'm not interested in that. Anyway, back to the bikes. So we have the steel frame. I initially had the tire not all the way to the back, the wheel on the drop all the way to the back. I changed that after talking to Alex. He said the ride would be a little softer if I moved the tire at the wheel all the way to the back of the dropout. So that's what I did for this ride, for all the rides. I'm just going to leave it there. I think it's actually way better there. I think he's right. I think it's a slightly softer ride. What do you think? You run yours all at the back too, right?
Yeah, I did mine to the drop out to the maximum length. I found it really good. This bike, I noticed, I haven't climbed from for a while. I think the last time I did 3 times to 7 Secret in one day, in one shot. On my common cell, the hardtail, chrome hardtail. And for this bike, I noticed the seat angle, the geometry, even though the front end is 63.5, really aggressive, but the seat tube is 75, I think. The climbing position is so much better. I think it climbs better than any of my bike. I think I can climb to 7 Secret 3 times, no problem, in one shot, no problem.
Yeah, it really does climb really well. I was definitely struck by that too, because the bike's not that heavy, and I agree with you, that extra degree or whatever it is, degree and a half on the seat tube angle over the last bike, which was a 74 angle for the seat tube, actually does make a big difference. It's much more comfortable to climb. It's much easier to climb. It just feels much better. Yeah, I agree that the head tube angle, more aggressive, doesn't affect the climbing whatsoever. So yeah, it just makes for a really stable feeling bike actually. So it's not as stiff as my initial impression was. I think it rides actually really well. It feels fairly planted. Obviously, when you go over a bunch of big boulders or something, I mean, you remember you're on a hardtail. But yeah, it's not ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's as good as hardtail is gonna get. The front end is so good. I can pop off drops. I ride like a dually at the front end, and yeah, I don't have to adjust my stance at all. Change it from a dually with 170 at the front and 160 at the back. Oh, let's have some epic footage here.
Oh
first.
no, yeah, I remember this. It's not good. It's supposed to go left there apparently, according to Berm Unit. Anyway, okay, yeah. I don't know. That it looked doable, but I don't know. I don't know what happened there. It's just
Send us some comments on what we should do differently to turn the corner.
how to turn corners here. Yeah, didn't work out. But yeah, anyway, the bike was fine here. I think the handlebar took it mostly. Yeah, no, there's no marks even. It was totally fine after that. So that's good. Yeah, no, I mean I agree with you. Very confident descending bike. It feels natural right away. I felt very centered on it, and corner is pretty easy too. So just really stable.
What's wrong?
And because it is shorter than a dually, it's nice on these kind of tighter trails, I find.
Yeah, it is a really nice looking bike. The wiring is not internal cabling, but I like it too because it's easy to maintain, and it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot better than those new wire through the headset things that I'm starting to see. That's just flat out ugly. I don't know why anyone. I don't get that at all. Actually, that's a dumb trend. That's gonna be like, I don't know, what's another dumb trend that died out. I hope. It's just so ugly. I don't know. Anyway, but no, I like the external wiring on this for the most part. It's simpler, like you said, it's easier to maintain, easier to see what you have. There is one internal cable. I'm glad you kind of brought up the cabling. There's the seat post one goes internal, and I kind of like the finishing. They have like either plate to fill the gap if you don't run a dropper, or they have the one with a hole in it where you put the tube through. However, normally these plugs are rubber, right? And on this bike, it's metal with a little screw. And although that's like kind of nicer looking, it does leave like a gap between the cable and the hole. So like technically it would be like a water ingress point. So I'm kind of thinking I'm going to want to plug that somehow in the future. Yeah, kind of an interesting choice because rubber would probably cheaper and probably just work a little better for that function.
Well, I think it may last longer if you do some cable changing.
Too slow.
Yeah, that could be.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, I don't know. It's a minor point. Let's talk about the fork. So I briefly rode around on your Z1 coil. It felt amazing, kind of just in the parking lot. You love it, obviously.
Always coil.
Always coil. Yeah. No, I mean, I've talked to someone else who loves DDO, and I kind of get the concept. So I'm just going to talk briefly about this fork. I have made my mind up about it. I don't actually like it. So I'm actually going to sell this fork pretty soon. And I think this fork would be great for someone who is between 135 pounds and maybe 165 pounds. And that's just because of how it comes set up from the factory. So, I mean, the high-speed compression is like super light on it. It is changeable. I get that. I could go in, I could get it reshimmed. I could play around with that, try it out, reshim it again. I just don't want to bother with all that. And it's the same thing with the off-the-top spring, which would be the equivalent of a negative air spring in an air shock. And this one is coiled, and they call it the off-the-top spring. It's technically adjustable, like I mentioned before. However, you got to basically tear apart the whole air spring to get at it, and then you got to add some spacers, which then you have to buy from DVO. I get it. It's doable. I don't want to bother with it. It's a lot of...
It is a big job.
It's a big job, yeah, and it's a pain in the butt. And then at the end of the day, I add one spacer. Then I got to put everything back together, add the oil, try it out. Maybe that's not add two. I just, like, it's actually kind of ridiculous. And I get it. They made the fork for a price point. I think it's a fork that's set up naturally for someone who is a lighter rider, and it is obviously possible to have this tuned to my weight. It's just for me to get it to where I'm going to be happy. I think maybe it's going to just take so much work back and forth at the shop or a lot of tooling myself. Honestly, I cannot be bothered. So I actually ordered a Z1 coil as well, and I don't know, this fork's in good shape. Had it like, whatever this is, 4 runs on it, whatever. You can watch my videos. It's in good shape. There's no marks on it from that gangler crash or whatever. I don't know. I'm going to put it up there, get rid of it, and move on. And again, I do think it is a good fork for someone who's lighter than me. If you're heavy, I don't know. you must like to tinker with this. This is the D2 model as well. The D1 model is externally adjustable. I can imagine that's a whole lot easier. But yeah, this is a D2 model, so it is what it is. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I do think somebody will be happy with it. I do like DVO's approach to the fork. I think it's interesting. I think it's good. I think it could possibly be amazing. It's just because it's not easily adjustable, it's just a pain in the butt. I just can't be bothered. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's why I'm also selling mine brand new too. Both me and James is heavier than the suggested weight for this fork.
Yeah, than what it comes set up for. Yeah.
Yeah, and these, to adjust the fork is way more than your typical changing volume spacer or even changing the coil inside the coil fork. It will take you probably maybe a to be a technician.
For this one, it's a total teardown, and then it's a guess, right? You put it back together. Oh shoot, I don't like that. Now it's a total teardown again. I don't know. Like if I was a student at school, I think I'd spend all the time I needed just do the cheapest thing, which would be to keep it. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm older now. I just don't care. It's just it's too much of a ball ache. Someone else could deal with it. If you're in that kind of 150 plus or minus 50 pounds range, this will be already set up for you. Good for you, right? For me, and you, like this, we're outside that range of weight, so it's just, yeah. Anyway, I thought I'd try it. You skipped it right away. I don't know. Yeah, and it does take me a few rides to make my mind up, but yeah, I don't like it. I think I got a little quicker because the Fox 38 I spent a full year on before I'm like, no, I absolutely hate the air spring on this, and I changed that to a coil as well. The coil just feels better. I don't know. I'm a coil believer. You pay a bit in the weight penalty, but.
Yeah, I believe this DVO is better technology than the Fox 36. What do you think, James?
I think it has a lot of capability. I think if this was a D1 model where you can like change the clicks from the outside, so while you're on the trail you can tune it, and you can probably get it tuned within 1 or 2 runs. I think like I'd probably keep it, like because I could probably get it to that right setting quickly. It's just a matter of like it's not convenient, and I think it just comes set up for that lighter rider. And I think for a lighter rider, this will be an amazing fork. But and it's not that, I mean, obviously you can set it up for a heavier rider too. But it's one of those things where it's like, is it adjustable? Yes, kinda. Not really. Who the hell's gonna do all that? Like I don't know. Someone will. Not me. I'm not interested. Yeah. That's really all there is to it.
Yeah. But for lighter riders, I recommend you try it. It is a good concept. Especially you like air fork. I think you will like this fork.
Yeah, I think so too. And again, that off-the-top spring instead of the negative air spring. I know in the Fox 38, that was a big problem, is that I think the negative air spring chamber is like just too small, so it just felt harsh all the time, blasted the drum. This one here with the coil off-the-top spring, I think potentially has the ability to be much nicer than that negative air spring. Because I mean, you see all these kits from Vorsprung to compensate for not enough negative air spring, and this one here is coil, and it's. Yeah, I think it's got the potential to be a really great fork. I just can't be bothered with it.
Nice. Yeah, so we are really excited for this hardtail, and we can't wait to take it to different mountains and post more review, guys.
Yeah, I think that's about it. I do think it is probably the most capable, probably the nicest steel hardtail I've had. I like the look of it, like you mentioned. And yeah, it's got the right amount of stiffness. I think. I don't think it's too stiff. I don't think it's not stiff enough. The frame is very, very confidence inspiring. Climbs well. Yeah, I think this is a great. Yeah, probably one of the best hardtails I've had. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, very clear. And that's pretty much it for our thoughts. I think, right?
Yeah. Hope to see you guys on the trail and Max Sand.
Sponsored by nobody.
Yes, nobody.
All our opinions are just opinions. All right, that's good.